So welcome Strategy Battle Games to another GBHL YouTube video. You're here with your host GBHL Damian, and this is my hobby vlog number 29, and I am delighted to say that they're finished. So yes, my original plan was to have these guys done by the 23rd or something. It was 2 weeks ago anyway, but obviously it didn't quite happen, but they are now finally finished. Callooh and indeed Callooh. We pan over those. My last 6 Infantry Mirkwood Elves. What a day, what a day. So I did actually finish these guys about nearly a week ago, to be honest, but I hadn't done, I'd finished the painting the models, but I hadn't done their bases because I kind of started working on something else before doing the bases, which I'll show you in a minute. But for now they are done. So shall we have a look at the final thing? I know you've seen elves before, right? You've seen these elves before. But here we go. So I'm not really going to talk about the colour scheme too much because I've talked about it so many times over the last 11 months, as it turns out. I found out I started painting my Palace Guard 11 months ago. I was doing those colour studies on some Bretonnian archers. Do you remember that? It's nearly a full year ago. How crazy is that? But this was my project for the year, was to create a kind of competitive elf army of the, you know, not the obvious kind of old Lord of the Rings Wood Elves, but the out of the new Mirkwood Elves. And I'm delighted to say that whilst it's not entirely finished, the project finishing these 6 has made it a damn sight closer to being finished. So there we go. Happy with how they came out, as always. I think when I had the Baneblade Brown highlight to the Gorthor Brown, which is, if you look at the belt and the kind of paler straps around this kind of cloak thing, that really makes them pop, adding that pale brown on there. I said it before, but I really like that elf there. It's a really good pose. So here's one of the finished conversions. As you can see, as it turns out, I was hoping the paint job would do an awful lot to kind of cover it, but the Galadhrim arm is a bit thick, isn't it? The scale isn't quite right on it, but I think it'll do. It's another lovely model, this one, I think. Again, as you can see the kind of detail in there. So as always with these guys, awful lot of work went into them because there's an awful lot of detail on them, but I think it's worth it in the end. The camera doesn't show up particularly well the kind of cloaks, but there's again, there's like 5, is it? There's a base coat, then a wash, then a rebase, then 1 highlight, 2, 3. There's about 5 or 6 layers on these cloaks, I think, all told, which is kind of crazy talk for warriors, to be brutally honest, and is why they took so long. That's the other Galadhrim arm. I think this one possibly works slightly more successfully. Kind of, you don't necessarily notice that one as much. Nice pose there. And drop him down. And pop this up here. And there's the last one, which is quite exciting. So yeah, that is the last 6 done. Let's get down here, have a little look-see. So thrilled to get these done. I still do have my 2 Mirkwood Knights to paint, so there's 2 more of these elves to do, but they're on horseback and they're only a batch of 2, which I feel a whole lot better about. But it looks really cool as a kind of army shot when you put all these together. So I've now in total over the year I've painted up 24 of these guys. 10 Palace Guard, including the banner conversion and the armoured captain, and that's my kind of like Mirkwood force, and that is what is coming with me to the league final, which is this weekend. I'm actually recording this on Wednesday. Sorry I couldn't get this up any earlier, but if you watched the plan till last week, you know I left my camera at my uncle's house, so I've only just managed to get that back, so I couldn't quite get it up. I'm going to pop this up today, Wednesday, put it up a bit later. And I'm going to the league final on Friday, and this army is coming with me. And points-wise, if you allow for Legolas, Tariel and Thranduil in the new guises, all those models I just mentioned essentially get me to 750 points. So I think it's, as I said, 24 elves, 10 Palace Guard with the banner. I think it's actually 22 elves and 10 Palace Guard. Get you there. So it's an elf army, so it's always going to have, it's not rubbish by any means, but you know, it's certainly not pitch rich competitive edge. You know, I haven't got any Mirkwood Rangers in there for the bow limit or anything, but I'm going for this just huge gold and red Battle of 5 Armies force, which I'm quite excited about using at the weekend. Now these guys are done. it's also a big weight off my mind just getting these guys finished. I can't believe I've quite managed to paint 24 of these, to be honest. I'm very thrilled about never having to do them again. But I am not quite ready for the league final just yet, because I've started on someone else. And I thought this was quite funny because I'm sure you're familiar with this fine publication. This is SBG issue 2, which came out last February. And I want to draw your attention to this. At the back. Did it come out last February? No, it came out last April, I think we launched this. So this is the little hobby blog section where we say what we've been working on and what we're working on next. As you see, it says, I've now begun working on my Thranduil's Hall army, and then next up are 2 Mirkwood Knights, Legolas and Thranduil. That's what I was going to be painting next, and I would have written this sometime in February. There they are. And as anyone who's been following these hobby vlogs will know, of those 4 models, there are 3 of them. 2 Mirkwood Knights and Leggy are still as white as the driven snow. So that goes some way to showing the kind of fun complications that can come up in the hobby that I'm not quite sure why they didn't get done next or what's caused that problem, but they are just as white as they were back in February when they were next. However, in exciting news, whilst they have had no progress, Thranduil has, and here he is. So I haven't shown him in a hobby vlog with any paint on him yet, but you might have seen him with a few blobs of colour splashed over onto him and the Palantir. So this is my Thranduil conversion. It was converted by Dave Fredericks of Flame. If you're interested in this, he can do this conversion, or you can buy the antlers for £5, which is a really good deal to make a really simple conversion of this Thranduil model. And then over the last week I got started on him, and here he is. Now this is the guy who's meant to be my leader for the league final at the weekend, so he obviously needs to get done. And because I'm on a bit of a time limit, I've started painting him maybe slightly differently to how I normally paint models, in that I'm trying to finish bits. I would normally kind of base coat and base coat and base coat, base coat everything and then do the next highlight and then do the next highlight, but I'm actually trying to get bits done and then move on. So for example, at the moment, it's not to say it's absolutely 100% fully finished, but his face should be done. We go in there, the antlers make it a bit hard to get in. Face should be done. His hair, again, should be done. Lighting's not showing up brilliantly well on this. And I've just, the inner robes, so on his sleeve in there, the kind of blacky grey robes, and his collar, that's done. And I'm now, the last thing I did was highlight up the armour for the first time, and down here. So I'm now going to start working on the kind of robes. And I'm deliberately kind of working from the inside out on that, almost dressing him, skin, then robes, then armour, etc. Because it's a big model and I'll be holding it. You can actually see as I'm painting it, I'm having to hold it like that, which is why I haven't done too much on the stag or the back of his cloak, because your fingers kind of end up on it. So I'm kind of working my way out, and then hopefully in that sense I'll be painting the bits that I've had my fingers all over once I've finished touching them. So I'm actually quite pleased with him. It's not, the face isn't, it's not my best face by any means. It was one of the ones that was, it worked. Like, it's not like I had to redo the eyes a load of times or anything like that, but it didn't quite sit right with me for some reason. But I think it's pretty good. I might go back and do a bit more work on it. But the important thing is, it's doable. It'll work for the final if it needs to be. And I'm now gradually working out from him, and then hopefully going to keep working on him. So this guy is now, he's done enough so that I know he'll get done. I've got a few evenings before the league final. I've got tonight and I've got tomorrow evening where I know I can kind of smash out the elk, hopefully. So he will be finished, or he will be based, I should say, and kind of looking finished by my next hobby vlog, which I hope to get out on Monday. I should be able to do that, but that's not to say I wouldn't go back to him and touch him up a bit. But yeah, he's coming along alright. It's a lovely model. I'm actually really enjoying painting this one despite the kind of time pressure. But if you're going to the league final at Slayer this weekend, then you'll see him in person. And if you're not going to the league final at Slayer, why the hell not? You should go and get a ticket and come along and join in all the joy there. So that is Thranduil. That's what I've been working on. Once he's done, I've got a bit of time before I go home for Christmas. I'm going back to visit my parents for a few weeks, so I won't get any painting done. But I think if I do have any painting time next week, what I'm going to try and do is finish this guy. Remember him? Remember Dear Sweet Gandalf? I was working on this Dol Guldur Gandalf a while back. He's very nearly finished actually, doesn't need an awful lot of work, but he got benched in favour of finishing my army for the league final. So I think he's the sort of project that I could just get finished off before heading home. So I might try and get him done so that you see him complete in 2 weeks in a hobby vlog, perhaps. That's the plan, and then probably work on some of these guys. So that I can finish off this elf project once and for all, which is those 3 and these 2. That's the end of the project. Legolas, Foot and Mounted, 2 Mirkwood Knights and a new version of Thranduil. And once I've done those, I will then move on to whatever excitement 2016 holds. So there we go. That's what I've been working on. It's been a positive week finishing those elves, and I'm having quite a lot of fun painting Thranduil. And yeah, so that is that. I hope you enjoyed that. As ever, don't forget to comment, like, share and subscribe. Support your Hobbit host by clicking on the links below. Follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, support your Hobbit hobby, and happy strategy battle gaming.